And at 10, Reaper Puppet. While the Reaper Puppet may not be canon to the Five Nights series, he originates from a popular fan-made game series called Final Nights. Reaper Puppet is one of the main antagonists in Final Nights 3 Nightmares Awoken, where he will climb over a railing to get into your hospital room. He also returns in the final game of the series, Final Nights 4 Fates Entwined, where he looks even more gruesome. In the third game, he looks similar to the puppet we all know and Night Marionette combined. His legs are curled like Ursula's tentacles, and the arms are so thin they're worse than mine. He has sharp fingers that in all honesty appear tree-like, where his legs are the roots and his arms are the branches. The way he just climbs towards the door is so creepy, and you need to confront him to get him to leave. And in the fourth game, he looks like the puppet mixed with Jeff the Killer, like Night Marionette on some form of substance that would be classified as illegal and might have a similar name to that of a famous soda brand. And at 9, Toy Chica. Toy Chica is a simple animatronic, but a scary one. Equipped with security functions that allow it to scan everyone it sees, anyone in the sex offender shuffle is luckily going to stay far away from the pizzeria. But if you manage to get by, the actual design of the thing will be enough to make you leave. Chica is a chicken, which means that they have beaks, but Toy Chica doesn't have a beak. Sure, it starts off having a beak, but by the time it would help you, the damn thing is gone. Plus, don't even get me started on the fact that the majority of pictures that pop up when you Google Toy Chica are things that kids should not be seeing. Get your cupcake away from there! It doesn't belong there! Stop it! First appearing in Five Nights 2 and later Ultimate Custom Night, Toy Chica is just god-awful without the beak. How could it fall off in the first place? It's attached to your face. And at 8, Ennard. Ennard is literally the insides of 5 different animatronics, basically just walking around with his guts and the guts of 4 other people visible to anyone who wants to see, or doesn't want to see. Plus there's also the fact that to escape from sister location, they scoop out your guts and replace them with themselves, making you their flesh suit while also infusing you with the remnant metal. So even after they've noped out of you, your rotting corpse can still walk around and become the Garden Pizzeria Simulator. Plus when he takes that mask off, it's just like 3 eyes. Yeah, 3 eyes with one hanging off his cheek. It's too much. I can't. No. I think the worst part is that he ends up having to insert himself into you like some weird kinky crap, but then ejects himself to go find a new fresh flesh suit. Hey, that's kind of like a tongue twister. New fresh flesh suit. Man, that's hard. Oh, and the damn nightmare version I saw when I googled him, even if it's just fan-made, I can't anymore. This looks worse than Pennywise. He looks like a clown with a stash of pillows under his floorboard with his victims in the attic. I can't. I don't know why I said the pillows. I did though. And at 7, Biddy Bap. The Biddy Baps are a pair of tiny animatronics appearing in sister location that could also have up to 7 members of the little Biddy cult or whatever it is. The 2 we see are only active in Night 2 during the game. They're small, baby-like animatronics with pale skin and oddly colored eyes. At the beginning of sister location, you hide under a desk while you hear the 2 talking about stuff you only listen to if you're MatPat. Then need to fight to keep the door closed as they try to push through. The fact that you can see their eyes poking through while you're fighting to close the door only makes it worse. This is by far one of the most intense moments of the series. Plus, it's the purest form of nightmare fuel, especially if you're a parent. To watch these things peel their face off to reveal their animatronic interiors, I just can't. It feels wrong. And at 6, Music Man. This guy is always smiling, and not like the good kind of smiling that gives you the rev of always being happy, but literally showing all your teeth with your mouth in like a rectangle smile. This animatronic is one of the purchasable products in Pizzeria Simulator. He can be found in the rare finds auction section of the catalog, and can also be unlocked by fishing him out of the ball pit tower minigame. He made a return in Ultimate Custom Night as one of the selectable characters, as they all did. Activating this character will cause him to spawn behind you. He's sound sensitive, meaning that if you make noise, he will crash his cymbals together. The more noise you make, the faster the crashing, until eventually he just jump scares the hell out of you. Music Man can be activated by Phantom Mangle and Mangle's Gargles, Phone Guy Calls, the Monitor, and the Fan. The Fan. This guy is basically a musical spider, and if I wanted to deal with that, I'd watch Charlotte's Web. If you've seen other videos, you'll know I hate spiders, and this is honestly just terrible. And he's behind you and you can't see him, which makes it even worse. You have to go off sound, and if you're trying to do like the 2020 thing, like no. And at 5, Nightmare Mangle. Nightmare Mangle is the really screwed up version of Mangle who first appeared in the Halloween update for Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Sure, original Mangle is scary, with a jaw that can unhinge and the one who caused the bite of 87, but this Nightmare Mangle takes it to a whole new level of terror. Removing what can only be described as flesh, you see the horrifying internal endoskeleton of the animatronic. Throw on a few extra arms, legs, and even heads, and you'll be spooking me for days. In FNAF 4, this replaces Nightmare Foxy in the closet, so make sure you keep checking that, otherwise you'll be screwed. But it also makes an appearance in Ultimate Custom Night, since again, they literally all do. In Ultimate Custom Night, Nightmare Mangle comes down the right hall, but you can prevent it from entering the office by buying the Funtime Foxy plushie from the prize corner. If you don't though, it's one of the scariest jump scares in the game, but mostly because of the extra head. And at 4, Scrap Baby. Sometime between the events of the 5th and 6th game, Baby ends up getting kicked out of the Ennard clan. There's a conversation in the source code of Scott Cawthon's 2 websites to back this up, where Baby is getting voted off the island. After this, Baby somehow finds a way to rebuild her shell, and finds her way to the back alley of Pizzeria Simulator trying to get inside, and failing until you bring her in. Scrap Baby is terrifying. Being horribly disfigured and knocked down, the player has to salvage the animatronic since that's the whole point of the game. But when she attacks, oh my god, it's terrifying and very intense. In Ultimate Custom Night, she has a very interesting gameplay mechanic where she is sitting next to the desk slumped over. There is a panel next to her that allows you to shock her at the cost of 1% of power. This won't make a difference until she has moved. If she has, shocking her will cause her to leave and never return. But if you don't notice, she will jump scare you the next time you bring up your monitor. And at 3, Jacko Chica. This is the scariest version of Chica by far. Sure, there is a Jacko Bonnie, but the Chica is just the worst. It's a nightmare version of Chica, but with fiery eyes and stomach. Oh my god. In Ultimate Custom Night, this version has some damn creepy lines. After getting killed by Jacko Chica, you can hear things like, "The fire within me burns eternal and now yours shall as well," and "I am a burning reminder of your misdeeds," which is totally fun, you know? But they also replaced Chica's cupcake with a jack-o'-lantern. Come on, the cupcake was the best part! This is for sure the scariest thing about the animatronic. Forget the torn flesh, glowing cracks, eyes, and rows of teeth. Okay, maybe it's not. While Jacko Chica may not be canon, it's something I can't unsee, especially when the jack-o'-lantern has its own jump scare. Like what? Even the cupcake doesn't have that. Rude. And at 2, Night Marionette. Also making its first appearance in the Halloween update for Five Nights 4, Night Marionette, also known as Nightmarion or Nightmare Puppet, this character is a horrifying version of the puppet. He uses the same behavior as Nightmare in this game. Night Marionette is the skinniest of all animatronics. His hands are long and just 3 fingers. He has an exposed ribcage that protrudes from his back, and his legs are long and look like they are made of symbiote from a Spider-Man movie. In Ultimate Custom Night, he appears inside the office in random areas, and you must avoid putting your mouse over top of him to make him go away, otherwise he will materialize and he will jump scare you once he's solid. He also makes an appearance in Help Wanted, where he will appear in the second Night of Terrors level, which is fair enough because after seeing him I will never be the same. The lack of color makes him even more terrifying and I don't know if I can sleep tonight. Finally, in at number 1, Nightmare. Nightmare is almost identical to Nightmare Fredbear, with the same model but a black body and yellow top hat and bow tie. In Five Nights 4 he will appear in Night 7, replacing every other animatronic, which is honestly intimidating as f***. He doesn't need support to come and kill you. He'll do that on his own. He's a lone wolf, doesn't need a pack to be confident in his abilities, and he's everywhere but also nowhere. The only way you can tell which direction he's coming from is by listening to the footsteps present in the game. In Ultimate Custom Night, he's invisible until he reaches your door, where you can only see eyes. You need to listen for laughter and look out for eyes in order to know when he's coming. Laughing in scary games is torture. It's crazy and sadistic. He enjoys torturing his victims before death, and this is evident by his action in Ultimate Custom Night, but also the way he speaks when he kills you, essentially talking down to you and talking as if he's gloating that he killed you, which is rude as f***. Oh, here we go. Stuff of nightmares. And at 10, Buff Helpy. While Helpy may be an actual animatronic in the Five Nights at Freddy's games, Buff Helpy is a demon from the deepest depths of hell that was sent here to curse Dawko until a certain someone gets noticed. Literally the worst thing imaginable. Buff Helpy originated in the Dawko FNAF meme reviews, where he has somehow managed to work his way in every time. Buff Helpy was commented a lot in the previous part, so I figured I had to include him as a part of this, especially because, like, look at him. I included a fan character last time, so I might as well include another one / a meme character this time. Plus, just the thing is terrifying. Holy crap. I have never been so terrified yet strangely aroused. I mean confused. I mean comforted at the same time. I was running out of adjectives. Is that adjective? No, that's like nouns. whatever that kind of word that is. And at 9, Freddy Frostbear. Freddy Frostbear is identical to normal Fredbear, but light blue and dark blue with a plaid tie and a mistletoe on his hat. He has an icicle in place of a microphone in his hand, which he will probably use to give you the worst ice pick lobotomy in history, even worse than Nurse Ratched. Frostbear is much more aggressive than his counterpart. During his time in Five Nights at Freddy's Special Delivery, he will freeze your screen, making you need to shake it off before being able to act again, and if he haywires, you shouldn't look at his face or he will jump scare you instantly. He will fake charge at you on occasion while remaining invisible. When he materializes, you need to shock him, otherwise he will jump scare you. This character looks dope, and honestly I would just like to see this thing, but it is actually scarier when you think about it, especially because I hate being cold. And I hate it with a passion, yet I live in Canada. My apartment is also like 28 degrees constantly. It's weird. Canada is bipolar when it comes to the weather. No pun intended. Actually, yes, pun definitely intended. I wrote that, then I left it in after I realized it, so pun definitely intended. And at 8, Withered Bonnie. Still a giant blue rabbit, Withered Bonnie is missing his face. The main freaky feature of this animatronic is the missing face. Withered Bonnie's face is gone, revealing its endoskeleton and mechanisms, and causing wires to dangle. Yet, even with the missing face, you can still see 2 red lights for eyes that will haunt your nightmares for the next few days. Its left arm is totally gone, like ripped out of the socket gone, leaving the wires that are basically its veins out. Imagine if this was a person. Would you really play these games if these were people instead of animals? Because one look at this thing while I'm thinking about this being a person and I'm ready to order more pants on Amazon. Prime same day shipping. Yeah, this is damn serious. Out of all the withered animatronics, this one is by far the most damaged, just like me. And at 7, Phantom Freddy. First appearing in Five Nights 3, Phantom Freddy is one of the many incarnations of the mascot that have been created over the years. Phantom Freddy has the same detail as Golden Freddy, but with a black hat, tie, and mic, as well as a missing right ear. While his legs aren't seen in their entirety in-game, it looks like the left one was ripped off, or at least heavily damaged midway down the thigh. His fur looks burnt and slightly tinted green, which could have been foreshadowing the fire that takes place in Fazbear's Fright. However, he gets a new look in Help Wanted, where he has the same model as original Freddy, just slightly transparent in places, showing his endoskeleton. His walking animation when he's walking in the hallway in Five Nights 3 makes it look like he's doing naughty things in the dark. Ooh, behave. Still, one scary animatronic coming from Fazbear Fright. Why are these all scarier than William Afton? And at 6, Plush Trap. Plush Trap is a smaller plush version of Spring Bonnie, looking similar to the design of Springtrap, but much more cartoon-like and less damaged. Wish I could relate. First appearing in Five Nights 4, he is the antagonist to the Fun with Plush Trap minigame, but he can be replaced with Nightmare Balloon Boy if you use the Halloween DLC or whatever you want to call it. He is a yellow little monster who will sprint at you just like you told him your parents weren't home. And with that bobblehead sized noggin, it's one of the scariest things that you will ever see in these games. While less damaged than Springtrap, the little monster is just the bane of my existence. This is what I imagine having toddlers is like, especially if it was my kid. Oh my, it would be one hell of a crap show. One minute he's watching TV, the next he's running around the house screeching as loud as he can, and the neighbors keep knocking asking if he's okay, but you can't answer because you're trying to catch him. Then they call the cops. My childhood was weird. Plush Trap is a screaming toddler and one that wants to kill you. That's pretty damn terrifying if you ask me. Halfway through at number 5, Molten Freddy. From Pizzeria Simulator, Molten Freddy is basically Ennard 2.0, but in a visual sense as well as a story sense. Looking extremely similar to both Ennard and Funtime Freddy, Molten Freddy is one of the salvageable animatronics in the 6th game. After Baby gets ejected from the Ennard clan in the time between games 5 and 6, the collection of animatronics reassembles the face of Funtime Freddy to the best of their abilities, and since they lost a member, they don't really have enough body to really resemble a human. Like I said last time that Ennard was scary, but looking at Molten Freddy, this really beats that. Ennard looking human is creepy, sure, but it makes some sort of sense. Take all the scary elements of Ennard and put them in a bear that is literally trying to kill you with its massive teeth, and I need new clothing entirely. As well as a new therapist. This one already has to hear me talk about Sonic, so having to listen to this would make her have to get a therapist. And at 4, Nightmare Balloon Boy. I use Nightmare Balloon Boy in the scariest video game characters list, so I feel it's only logical to use him in part 2 of this list. While Balloon Boy has been around since FNAF 2, Nightmare Balloon Boy was only created in Five Nights 4's Halloween update / DLC or whatever you want to call it. He is featured in the Fun with Balloon Boy minigame, which plays exactly like Fun with Plush Trap. I almost said Nightmare with Plush Trap. Well, that's just what it makes me think of. The worst part of this animatronic is that he went from being so innocent, like looking like a little boy, to looking like a boy with more teeth than a shark out for your blood like it's water and he's been in the desert for a week. In Help Wanted, you play a version of Fun with Balloon Boy, where you need to stop him on a red X. Doing so unlocks Plush Baby's level, but failure will result in one of the cutest jump scares I have ever seen, in all honesty, because like, damn. Excluding Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. And at 3, RWQFSFASXC. Boom! Also known as Shadow Bonnie, this animatronic makes its debut in FNAF 2 along with Shadow Freddy, and becomes more of a centralized character in Five Nights 3 in the minigames, where you get clues that you set up in FNAF World if you ended up playing that game. In 2, RXQ can be found rarely, spawning in the security office where you do all of your work. If you look at it for too long, the game will crash, similar to how Golden Freddy will cause the game to crash. On the mobile version, the game will simply freeze instead, causing you to have to stop it and restart it. In Five Nights 3, the character is only seen in minigames as a controllable ghost, accessible in Night 5 by clicking its plushie. In FNAF World, he is just kidding, there's no way in hell I'm talking about that game in detail. If enabled in Ultimate Custom Night, he will cause your office to become pitch black for about 10 seconds. There is no way of avoiding him, which means if you have all the characters set at level 20, you'll be in for one hell of a bad 10 seconds. Anxiety levels, like high. And at 2, Grim Foxy. Grim Foxy makes his first appearance in Help Wanted's Curse of Dreadbear DLC, and is one of 2 new animatronics added by the DLC. He is essentially a Jacko Foxy, where he is very similar in appearance to any of the Jacko animatronics. The design of Foxy combined with the glowing gives me a real zombie apocalypse vibe for some reason, and the really withered look is making me think of Scooby-Doo Zombie Island, since a few of those zombies were pirates. I don't know why my mind went there, but it just did. And considering how that movie terrified me as a child, I can see why it would be doing the same thing now. Its jump scare is only visible because of the glowing light, and it's just, it's terrifying. No. Finally, and at number 1, Dreadbear. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who's not gonna die at the hands of Dreadbear? You're welcome. Dreadbear is the main antagonist of FNAF VR Help Wanted Curse of Dreadbear's DLC. That sounded weird. This is the only other animatronic added along with our previous number. Dreadbear looks similar to Frankenstein's monster with the stitches all over his body and the bolts coming out of his neck. He looks like a buff Nightmare Fredbear with thicker and flatter teeth, white eyes, and thick eyebrows like Kim K. Not the eyebrows, just the thick part. Like the other Nightmare animatronics, he has 5 sharp claws and 3 toed feet similar to the toy animatronics, and in all honesty, him being the center of the DLC just says it all. Like, God.
Number 10, Happy Frog. In Ultimate Custom Night, watch out for Happy Frog, as she is sneaky and approaches via the air ducts overhead. One of the most frightening things about her is her bubbly, innocent appearance, which contrasts her murderous tendencies. But also, in truth, seems to inform us of her feelings regarding murder. What are her feelings, you ask? Well, it seems based on her reactions to killing you and the lines we hear her speak that it brings Happy Frog a lot of joy to do so. Yikes. One of the creepiest lines you can hear her say in the game is, "We've only just begun. I will never leave you. I will never let you rest." A frightening promise, to be sure. Please let me rest. Please leave me eventually. Number 9, Phantom Puppet. Just because the Phantom animatronics can't hurt you in FNAF doesn't mean that you don't have anything to be scared of. Phantom Puppet is one of the most terrifying to gaze on of the animatronic puppets for me. Because, you know, Puppet himself has always reminded me of the Babadook from the horror film of the same name. And in this incarnation, Puppet looks to be even closer to the creepy, shadowy, monstrous figure of the film. Any other Babadook fans see a resemblance here? Do you know what I'm talking about? His shadowy appearance also only makes him more frightening, as it masks the details of his appearance. But it doesn't mask them fully. We can still just see enough of the outline of his mouth and features to make our imaginations run wild, and our heartbeat just a little quicker. The only thing that isn't somewhat dimmed when it comes to his features are his blindingly illuminating pupils, which stare at you, making you want to freeze where you are. Ugh, those pupils. Ugh. Number 8, Rockstar Chica. Rockstar Chica is known for her boisterous and intimidating attitude. She also seems to revel in attacking you in FNAF, which makes her a great and frightening antagonist to play with in Ultimate Custom Night. And when it comes to her appearance, her sunken eyes and overly colorful display, as well as the explosive speech bubble on her bib that reads, "Let's rock," obviously a play on her other bib which says "Let's eat," is what I find so off-putting about her. Ultimate Custom Night, her determined attitude makes her a fearsome enemy, and the only way to deter her in the game is through the wet sign, which you have to place on whichever side of the office you hear her approaching from. And watch out, cause Rockstar Chica is fast, and she will charge right at you, sometimes before you have enough time to react. Number 7, Withered Foxy. Withered Foxy is super scary to me because of his exposed jaw and teeth, as well as his endoskeletal ear. Endoskeletal. Is that a word? Well, it is now. Where before in the original Five Nights, Freddy was already pretty rough looking, he is now even more tattered. While he might not be missing any limbs, this just means he's one of the most capable of all of the withered animatronics. More limbs to, run after you, pounce at you, and tear you apart with, in my fearful mind. Please don't tear me apart, Foxy. Please don't do it. Withered or otherwise, I don't want you tearing me apart. Number 6, Funtime Chica. One of the scariest things about Funtime Chica's appearance for me is the dividing lines in her face. The metal plates that cover her are sectioned off, making it look like her face could open up from the center, revealing the sinister endoskeleton beneath. Also, her cupcake! Her cupcake looks super terrifying. It's got these tiny razor-sharp teeth, and it appears to look suspiciously calm when compared to its nightmare version. Almost like it's, trying to get you to let down your guard so that it can then proceed to, just chew your face off. In FNAF, you don't eat cupcakes. Cupcakes eat you. Her more realistic 5 fingers also just wig me out. Funtime Chica appears in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, but she's also a character you can play with in the Ultimate Custom Night game. Number 5, Plush Babies. Plush babies! Not as cute as they sound. These little plushies are the antagonists in the VR FNAF game, Help Wanted. They're each slightly different, smaller, and more terrifying versions of animatronic Circus Baby. Each has a different colored dress: blue, yellow, red. The yellow plush baby is missing an eye, while the blue plush baby has red stitching on her torso. There are also frightening versions of the plush babies that more closely resemble Scrap Baby. These versions includes a modification of the one-eyed yellow plush baby, who also now appears to have black liquid oozing from her eye sockets. Ugh. By the way, anything clown inspired, and I'm pretty much just out. I'm just gonna put it out there. Clowns are creepy. I don't like them. You heard it here first, folks. Number 4, Foxy. Probably one of the most terrifying animatronics from the original game, in my opinion. Foxy first appeared in the original Five Nights at Freddy's game and has reappeared in many of the sequels, albeit sometimes in a different form. Foxy is known for being shy, hiding behind the curtain at Pirate Cove in the first game. But also, he demands your attention. Not watching Foxy as often will lead to him bursting out from behind his curtain and sprinting towards you, punishing you by pouncing on you and killing you. And he's a challenging one to close the door on in time because he's so fast. So you definitely don't want him coming out to play. It's dangerous. At his speed and his broken down and pirate-like appearance with hook hand and rows of sharp teeth, and it's easy to understand why he's still considered to be just one of the most terrifying animatronics that FNAF has to offer. Number 3, Golden Freddy. This is a yellow version of the original Freddy Fazbear from the first Five Nights at Freddy's game, but with a few other slight differences. Nothing big. Just holding a microphone with dark blue clothes instead of black, a dark blue tinted hat, and a dark blue bow tie, and oh yeah, his eyes are missing! When compared to the original Freddy Fazbear, Golden Freddy made for quite the surprising and terrifying sight. What's worse than, animatronic eyes staring at you? An animatronic without eyes staring at you. How are you staring at me? Stop that. In Ultimate Custom Night, if you've managed to unlock all of the cutscenes, you will be rewarded by viewing Golden Freddy in the final cutscene, who can be seen twitching uncontrollably in pitch black darkness. True scary story. Number 2, Nightmare Freddy. This version of Freddy first appeared in FNAF 4. He is more tattered with a bent ear and missing toes from his suit. Overall, his design, although very torn, appears more lifelike when it comes to the shape of his body. This version of Freddy has more menacing looking pointed teeth, which are also more exposed. His eyes staring at you, shining a reddish yellow. And he doesn't just have one terrifying Freddy Fazbear head. Oh no. He has three miniature Freddy Fazbear animatronics known as Freddles. Oh, what a cute name. It's not scary. Also come along with him, appearing to be stitched to Nightmare Freddy, melded with him. Gross. Ew. Ick. Number 1, Springtrap. Springtrap is an early withered, run-down model of a Bonnie suit. In fact, Phone Guy refers to this animatronic in-game as Spring Bonnie. But The suit comes with a bonus! It also houses the mutilated corpse of William Afton. Springtrap is the main antagonist in FNAF 3, and is as evil as the corpse of the man who rots within it. William Afton himself is known in the game as the serial killer responsible for the missing children incident, referred to in the game. Afton was also the owner and operator of Afton Robotics Inc., where Fazbear Entertainment got all their creepy animatronics. Thanks for that, Afton. Thank you. And if you look closely at Springtrap, you can see between the holes in its suit the remaining guts and torn flesh of Afton, and his mummified head. It's in there. It's gross.
Number 10, be kicking off this list with Jack O. Freddy. Did Halloween come early, or am I just having a fever dream that's going to leave me with PTSD for the rest of my life? The original version of Freddy is already unsettling, but I could still see him set up in a Chuck E. Cheese or something of that nature. He's not so frightening that kids couldn't find any sort of enjoyment in him. But when it comes to Jack O. Freddy, he looks like something that would be posted in a haunted house with like a mattress in front of it, because every time it spooks someone, they pass out and they need something to fall on. Basically, it looks like the developers took the Nightmare skin Freddy and then they made it do the fusion dance with Ghost Rider. It looks like the skin on him is rotting from the outside, and then you can see into his animatronic frame. He's got those little Freddy babies growing out of him, which you can only assume he uses them to weaponize drone to torment anyone around him, and on top of all this, he's got flaming eyes. If Freddy was the last boss in a Dark Souls game, this would be his final form, and he would probably be able to kill you with one hit with some massive AoE attack that does an insane amount of unblockable fire damage. At number 9, we have Old Bonnie. Something that makes the Five Nights at Freddy's characters seem they could be at least a little bit cute is their fluffy exterior. Like, I wouldn't want one in my home, but I could see how some kid would find it cute and they get a plushie to sleep with. But with the Old Bonnie animatronic, that just strips away anything that might be cute and only leaves a dark gaze of a metal face that would make even the Terminator uncomfortable. He'd be like, geez, dude, like, put your face back on. You're freaking out all the other robots. I mean, like, I understand you're supposed to kill people, but this is a bit much. That is what really sets this one over the edge. It's not the old dirty fur, it's not the missing arm with live wires that are flowing out of the socket, it's the dark metallic face. It makes me think of that episode of Simpsons where the Itchy and Scratchy robots, when they were at Itchy and Scratchy Line and they try to kill everyone. At number 8, we have Nightmare Chica. Everyone who plays Five Nights at Freddy's eventually makes a mental list of which character is most scary to which character is least scary. For me, the worst to look at is Chica. If you break it down piece by piece, it just gets worse and worse as you go along. Just at first glance, you have a massive bird monster with a decaying outer shell. Yeah, that's gonna live in my psyche for a long time. Then you get to the teeth that are pointed like needles, and there are so many of them. There are more teeth in Chica's head than a Great White Family Reunion. And even the cupcake that Chica's offering has been overhauled. It looks like it was supposed to be at a dinner party for the Nightmare Before Christmas characters. Why did you have to do that to the cupcake too? And on top of all that, there's still the terrifying bib that says, "Let's eat." I hate this thing so much. It doesn't matter what version of Chica it is, it always makes me uncomfortable because I know Chica isn't getting ready for me to enjoy a meal. No, it's the other way around, and I'm probably. At number 7, we have Phantom Foxy. Even before Foxy gets a DLC pack to overhaul its look, it's one of the creepiest members of the whole group. Like, it probably harmed every child that got close to it even before it was an evil monster. I mean, it has a hook for a hand, and it probably sharpens that thing nightly. Just being a one-armed pirate fox with missing limbs is enough to make it onto this list, but then you add the phantom look and you're even more terrifying. What really freaks me out about it is that solo eye that stares back out of its dark exterior. Everything else about it is pitch black. There's just this one eyeball that is looking back at you the whole time. No thank you, me no likey, don't like this one. At number 6, we have Nightmare Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy really creeps me out. Whenever you take something like an animatronic, which is already pretty creepy, and then you make a child version, it gets even creepier. I mean, really think about it. It's anything horror. If it's a kid version, it's always scarier. You got ghost, child ghost, that's even worse. Clown, child clown, that's even worse. And Balloon Boy is no different. I think the part that makes me most uncomfortable is the floating head that has 2 massive rows of teeth. And you know that that propeller hat just acts like a hydraulic press, just lifting that head up and pressing it down so it can crush all your bones into a fine paste. And out of all the nightmare versions of the Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics, this one is the cleanest looking, like he's fresh out of the box, so you know somewhere in the world there's an evil factory that is still cranking these things out. At number 5, we have Security Puppet. I guess it was someone's bright idea to invite Jigsaw from the Saw franchise into Five Nights at Freddy's. That's exactly what this dude looks like. Bring up a side-by-side image of these two right now. They look like they have the same mom but different dads. That's why their noses look different. The red cheeks are way too close to a clown. And if you guys know me from the other top 10 lists I have done, then you will know that I'm not a big fan of clowns. They creep me out big time. Also, I really don't like the juxtaposition between the blue streaks under the eyes that look like tears and the smiling face. It looks like someone trapped it inside that body and then super glued the mask onto its face. And finally, the lanky, scary, spider-like physique that really makes it a big old nope for me, and I'll just leave it there. At number 4, we have Freddy Frostbear, although I will admit that this guy has some amazing Christmas chic. That little festive bow and that piece of mistletoe in the hat are a great choice. I love Christmas and anything to do with Christmas. But what bothers me is that massive icicle that he carries around, which for sure he uses to stab you in the neck when you aren't looking, and the fact that he's covered in ice, or gives off that icy sort of blue color, because you know as he slowly gets closer and closer to you, you're gonna start to feel the chill that he gives. Then your hair's gonna stand on edge, you're gonna get goosebumps, and right when you can see your own breath, you'll feel his icy grip. At number 3, we have Scrap Baby. Okay, we are bringing together so many horrible things here. First, you have Scrap Baby was originally Circus Baby, which is a clown, which I've already stated are terrifying. Then you have an animatronic that looks like a kid, and we've established that child versions of anything are always spookier than the original version, and Scrap Baby reassembled itself, and Scrap Baby was Circus Baby, as I said, and reassembled itself to make Scrap Baby. So this thing can come back again and again and again, like Jason comes back in every Friday the 13th movie. This is a 7-layer dip of horror tropes, and it's freaking me out. Not to mention as a giant pincer claw hand that it could use to pinch off your limbs with minimal effort, and it has roller skates. This thing is built for speed. At number 2, we have Molten Freddy. This reminds me of what the monster looks like at the end of a monster movie, when you've tried to kill it 20 times and its full form is revealed and now it just crawls around like some sort of goblin. The massive wires that make up Molten Freddy's body makes me feel like it would attack you like some sort of squid creature, just wrapping up around you and strangling you to death. But I do like how it still wears the hat. You gotta respect the drip, even when you're an evil robot monster. And for the number 1 spot, we have Ennard. I mean, it does make sense that Ennard would be able to work his way all the way to the number 1 spot. First off, he's a clown, and I've stated again and again, clowns are creepy. On top of that, he is the combo of some of the scariest parts of other Five Nights at Freddy's characters, and you can see his whole animatronic interior like a series of wires and parts that have a mind of their own that have all come together to kill you, which is exactly what he wants to do. Ennard is trying to murder you in the game so he can escape to live in the real world amongst everyone else. I'm assuming if he was successful in that, he would continue his killing ways and maybe never be caught.